Well, guys, we have a few big wrestling shows coming up over the next few days or so. So I thought now's as good a time as any for me to preview them and give my own thoughts and predictions on the cards. I was going to include Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor 15 on this. Unfortunately, this video came out a little bit later than I anticipated. The show has already happened. It concluded a few hours before I started filming this. I have not watched the show yet, so I don't really know what to think of it. I haven't read the results either. I was very interested in the card. The main event is Cody versus Minoru Suzuki, which is a very strange pairing. It's one that you wouldn't generally think of, but I thought, I kind of want to see that. That's a weird pairing. I hopefully it turned out well. I was also interested in seeing Jay Lethal versus Silas Young in the Last Man Standing match. I really like the feud that they have going, and I like Silas Young. He's a guy that doesn't get a lot of press, but I think he's just a great old school heel. And he probably deserves a little bit more credit, but that's just my opinion. So, hopefully Death Before Dishonor turned out well, and hopefully I enjoy it. And when I do see it, I'll get around to including it in a video review sometime over the next few days. But I have a few videos planned for the next few days, so hopefully I can squeeze it in somewhere. But coming up, we've got WWE No Mercy 2017 that is taking place tomorrow night. I'm obviously filming this very early Saturday morning. And it's a Raw exclusive pay-per-view, and to be perfectly honest, this is coming from a guy who has watched very little WWE content, or I should say very little new WWE content. I've watched plenty of old shit, but I've watched very little WWE content since Battleground. If you remember my video, I watched that show and I thought, man, this show beat me into submission. I'm done. I cannot give them 5 hours a week every week. I can't do it. Plus, additional hours for pay-per-views every month. I just can't do it anymore. But some stuff has happened on Raw that has generated at least a little bit of interest for me. Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar is the match I've wanted to see all year. Ever since they had their first confrontation, I believe it was the night after WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. I've wanted to see that match, and they've done a really good job of building it up and holding off until doing it at the right time and giving at least a few months of time for the anticipation to gestate, build, and feel natural when they actually do it. And John Cena and Roman Reigns are just shooting on each other left and right, which makes for interesting TV if nothing else. So, okay, I'm interested in that match just to see what the crowd reaction is. So, with those two build-ups, it's probably WWE's best built-up pay-per-view of the year, and I'm actually going to watch it, mainly because I want to see the main event. But yeah, I'll give them credit. They've generated at least some interest in two matches for this pay-per-view. WrestleMania had some good build-up, so I don't want to completely say that this one is the best. But, if the two main events deliver and we get a few other good things out of it, I'd call that a success. And that's really more than WWE could ask for at this point. But going over the card, I have it pulled up right here. You have Apollo Crews versus Elias Sampson in the pre-show. I have no idea if there's any story there or not. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a match that's taking place. I don't really have anything to say about it. Then we have Alexa Bliss defending the Raw Women's title in a Fatal 5-Way against Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, and Emma. This match is kind of lazy. I've said before I'm not a big fan of multi-person championship matches. To me, I prefer one-on-one championship matches. And, the multi-man stuff, it works better in contendership and determining a number one contender. Not a fan of it for the title match, though, and it feels really lazy to just have the entire Raw Women's division in one match, rather than having separate title defenses for Alexa Bliss. I hope Alexa retains, because she's the only one. I mean, looking at this list, Sasha's not as good as she was. She doesn't work as the underdog babyface. Bayley has been terrible on the main roster. Nia Jax, kind of sloppy in there. And Emma is a character that's been fucked around with so much that she doesn't have much going for her either. So Alexa's the only one out of the bunch that has any intrigue at the moment. I'm not saying that the other four are beyond fixing or beyond repair, but they need to be fixed or repaired before you put a belt on them. That's just my opinion. I think Alexa's by far the best option to go with, so I would hope that she would take it. For the Intercontinental title, we have The Miz defending against Jason Jordan, the son of Kurt Angle. Miz better retain. There's absolutely no reason for him to drop the belt to Jason Jordan, unless you're planning to put the Universal title on him. over the next few months, I would just keep the belt on Miz and just let him keep on rolling, because he's one of the best things in the WWE, or at least he was before I stopped watching. I don't know if that's still the case. I'm assuming that's still the case, but we shall see. For the Cruiserweight title, we've got Neville defending against Enzo Amore. Didn't he just join the Cruiserweight division? I feel like that just happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's already like top contender. It's like, this is what I talk about when they don't give these they don't give these title matches time to build or develop. They just do them. They decide they want to do them, and they just do them. And yeah, this feels way rushed to already have Enzo in the title picture for the Cruiserweight division, but whatever. I would hope that Neville would retain, but they're not above stupidity, so who knows. For the Raw tag titles, we've got Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins defending against Cesaro and Sheamus. I think this match could be good. I think from the very little I have seen, I think the tag team has been good for Ambrose and Seth. It's giving them a bit of more of a fresh direction, giving them something more substantial than what they had been doing. I think this match could be good. I think Cesaro and Sheamus are actually a good team, and they've worked well together, so I expect this match to be pretty good. I still haven't seen their SummerSlam match where Dean and Seth won the belts, so this is going to be a fresh pairing for me, so hopefully the match turns out really well. We've also got Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Apparently, from what I've heard, Finn Balor will not be donning the face paint or the body paint. And will not be the demon, as this is where the storyline direction has gone. Now Bray is daring him to face him without the added, benefit of being the demon. Demon or not, I don't give a shit about anything that Bray Wyatt does. I hope Finn Balor just beats him and moves on, because to me, Bray Wyatt, I said that the girls are probably not beyond repair. Bray Wyatt is beyond repair at this point, and I don't see any reason to give him a win here. I mean, they've already fucked him up to the point that the character's basically ruined, so why give him a win? Like, at this point, just keep Finn Balor rolling and give Brock Lesnar a strong contender moving on, which I think I just gave away my prediction for the main event, but moving right along from there, we've got John Cena versus Roman Reigns. I already talked about it. Some of the promos that these two are cutting on each other. While you could say it's cheap to just have them shoot on each other, at least it feels like their hatred between them is legitimate. I would hope that when this is over, it doesn't end with just like the cheesy, like babyface respect handshake. Let the two hate each other and then just do something with it later. I think Roman's got to go over here, right? I mean, Cena has pretty much hung him out to dry in these promos, so it'll make Roman look really bad if he doesn't beat him. So to me, yeah, I think Roman's probably going to take the win here. And then we got the main event, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman for the Universal title. Brock, after having a very sluggish year last year, Brock has found a little bit of the magic back. Especially that, I think the feud with Goldberg like lit a fire under him. I don't know. And the match they had at WrestleMania was, 5 minutes of awesomeness. And some of the stuff he did with Joe was good. Wasn't the biggest fan of their match per se, but the build-up was good. And then you had the match at SummerSlam, which was pretty well executed. So Brock Lesnar's got a little bit of that fire and that spark back. And then you have Braun Strowman, who I think has been built up very, very well as a top contender and as a monster heel. So, they're looking for new stars. I say, I don't think Braun's going to win the belt, but I think he probably should. I think they may want to consider putting the belt on him here and just run with him as this unstoppable monster heel and see if you can get anything out of that and just make a star out of the guy. Just do it. Pull the trigger. He's probably the best. I mean, if I were going to designate a WWE Superstar of the Year for 2017, I would probably give it to Strowman. He's been that good, and he's one of the most enjoyable things. And again, kudos to the WWE. They set up a pairing that I wanted to see, Lesnar versus Strowman. They made me wait for it. Now they're doing it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not missing that. I was like, I've anticipated it. I am excited for it, and I want to see it. I want to see these two go out there and just have a cool, power match where Strowman just throws Lesnar around, and Lesnar would probably have to break out some of his athleticism rather than his raw power to beat Strowman. There's a few different ways they could go with this, but I'm very intrigued in watching the main event, and I want to watch it. So, hey, again, good job, WWE. You created a match that I wanted to see. and you didn't just rush it to the next pay-per-view either, so good job. So those are all my feelings on No Mercy 2017. Hopefully it's a good show. I'm going to check it out as it happens. I'll probably have No Mercy on my computer and I'll have Sunday Night Football on. Although football's getting kind of depressing to watch given my Giants. That's like the worst O-line I've ever seen in the history of the New York Giants. That is really, really bad, the way the O-line currently looks. And the offense is stagnant because of it. But, hey, what do I know? I'm just a fan. But, in addition to No Mercy, another show that's coming up is Ultima Lucha Trace. It's going to be 4 events for Lucha Underground to close out Season 3. And I guess I might as well just address the elephant in the room right now. Is this going to be the end of Lucha Underground? There hasn't been much talk of a Season 4, and you're seeing Lucha Underground talents pop up in GFW, and Mundo's there now, and Taya's there now, and Tejano just showed up on GFW this week. A lot more AAA guys are showing up there, so it makes me wonder if Lucha Underground, they're just going to pull the plug on it, and that'll be that'll be the end of it. I sincerely hope not. Also Ricochet's not coming back. Prince Puma, that's pretty much confirmed. So, that's a shame if that's the case. It's not looking good, is basically what I want to say here. But again, I feel like we have this discussion every year with Lucha Underground, where it's like, okay, is this the end, or are they coming back? I hope they come back, but if this is truly the end, all right, over the next 4 shows, let's just go out with a bang, and hopefully Ultima Lucha Trace delivers. I think the card overall is very good. There's a lot of gimmick matches, but because it's spread out over 4 shows, it doesn't feel quite as cluttered. It's like, oh, okay, gives me room to breathe. I'm not just watching a ladder match, a cage match, a last man standing match. There's a 3 stages of hell match. There's all sorts of things on this show. But spreading it out over 4 weeks makes that a little bit more palatable rather than, doing it all in one night. Actually, a friend of mine suggested that WWE should think about, since WrestleMania just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, they may want to consider just making it a 2-night event, which I personally wouldn't be opposed to, but that's a decision for WWE to make. If we get to a point where WrestleMania is like 8 hours long, to me, it's like, okay, would it kill you to just have 2 4-hour shows instead, or 2 3-hour shows, or whatever? But anyway, that's a whole other thing. What happened to my page? Okay. Now, 411 Mania actually posted the actual lineup over all 4 shows, and what the card's going to look like for each night, which is very useful. I don't know where they got this information, but so now I know what to expect from each and every show, and I've got a lot of opinions on each match, so let's get started with night 1. Why is this not... Okay. Alright, so night 1, happening this Wednesday. We've got the contract match between Tejano Jr. and Famous B. This is a story that's been building the entire season, with Famous B trying to recruit Tejano as his client. And now Dario has set up this match where Famous B is able to defeat Tejano. Famous B, who has a broken arm, by the way, thanks to Pentagon. He will sign over Tejano's Lucha Underground contract to Famous B, officially making Tejano his client. Now, Dario also made a comment about this being a handicap match because of Famous B's broken arm, but I'm also wondering if there's like kind of a double meaning to this. Is he going to give Famous B a partner to help him face off against and ultimately defeat Tejano? This is something we're going to have to wait and see. I'm thinking along those lines because with that stipulation in place, Famous B has to win somehow. Otherwise, why even put the stipulation in there? It would just be pointless. So to me, Famous B has to win this somehow, some way, and ultimately take on Tejano as his unwilling client. We'll see how that plays out. The second match on this show is the Hell of War match between Dante Fox and Killshot. I think this could be the sleeper hit of the show. I think that this match right here, it doesn't have any of the big-time Lucha Underground stars that you would think of, like the Prince Pumas, Mil Muertes, Pentagons, Johnny Mundos, those type of guys. But it's a feud that has been going on all season long. Some of the segments dedicated to this feud have been amazing. The one that explained Dante Fox's backstory as Killshot's former comrade in war, and how Killshot inadvertently and without his knowledge had left Dante to die in the hand as a POW and all this other crazy shit that Lucha Underground likes to do. And Dante Fox is back for revenge against the man that he thinks abandoned him. When Killshot didn't abandon him, he just thought he was dead. So you have this whole rivalry going on, and we're finally getting a big payoff match between the two. Again, they've been building this story all season, and I think that these two could potentially have the sleeper hit of the show and one of the better matches from Ultima Lucha. And I'm expecting this. It's a 3 stages of hell match style of match. I forget what the 3 falls are, but it's going to be set up very similarly to 3 stages of hell. And yeah, I think this is going to be a wild, crazy, violent match. And hopefully it's worthy of the build-up that it's gotten and the story that they've been telling all season long. And hopefully it's a really good match. They're getting the main event spot on night 1, so... and I don't expect the contract match to go very long, so I think that this match could be a really long one. It may have been the reason that Ultima Lucha Trace got spread out over 4 shows. So, yeah, I think this could be a very good one. And one of the, maybe kind of a surprise hit for Ultima Lucha. So, again, fingers crossed. I'm going to pick Killshot to get the win. Of course, I also realize that these shows have already been taped, and me making predictions is kind of silly, but whatever, I'm doing it anyway. No spoilers, please. I haven't had any of this spoiled for me. The next show, Night 2, happening October 6th, is that? I'm sorry, my eyesight's really bad. Anyway, it'll be the next week. We've got 3 matches lined up for that show. We have Katrina versus Ivelisse, which was a match that was made official on the first episode of Season 3. And we've got the hair versus mask match between Marty the Moth Martinez and Phoenix. And we have a match that has yet to be announced, which is interesting. There are actually 2 matches in Ultima Lucha Trace that have not been announced. But one of them will be taking place on night 2. I guess I'll start with Katrina versus Ivelisse. Like I said, they made this match official on the very first episode of Season 3 of Lucha Underground, and actually goes all the way back to Ultima Lucha Uno, as Katrina has actually cost Ivelisse both of her matches in Ultima Lucha's previous 2 events, and also got involved with Ivelisse's title match against Mil Muertes in the first episode of Season 2. So this one goes back a long ways. It's unfortunate that Ivelisse got hurt, because I think that really hurt some of the build-up here. Jeremiah Crane came in as Ivelisse's new boyfriend, but he's also been expressing romantic interest in Katrina. So, I think the storyline was supposed to go in that direction, with Katrina stealing the affections of Ivelisse's boyfriend and lead that into Ultima Lucha. Unfortunately, Ivelisse got injured again, and I think that put a lot of their plans on hold for the storyline. So even though it does have this long build-up going into it, going back a long ways, it kind of halted in Season 3 because Ivelisse got hurt, which is very unfortunate, and I think they kind of undercut a lot of what they wanted to do with it. But I think the match could be fun. I don't really know what to expect out of it. I'm kind of anticipating a lot of bells and whistles, and maybe some outside interference from Crane, or maybe Mil Muertes, or maybe Katrina using some of her magic powers to teleport all over the temple. Crazy shit like that. But we'll see how they ultimately decide to do this. But I'm going to pick Ivelisse to win and ultimately get a revenge on Katrina for all the past slights and get her first win at Ultima Lucha. And then the Phoenix versus Marty the Moth Martinez match. This has been a great feud, I think, with Marty the Moth stalking Melissa Santos, and Melissa Santos expressing romantic interest in Phoenix, and that whole couple, relationship that's going on there. And Marty just being a nasty, creepy heel that, wants to rip Phoenix's mask off, and, they did that whole segment where Phoenix beat him in the Cueto Cup tournament, but Marty flipped out and beat the crap out of him and bloodied him. And we just had the intergender tag match on the previous episode of Lucha Underground, where it was Phoenix and having her first match, Melissa Santos, who looked amazing in her wrestling gear, by the way, taking on Marty the Moth and his sister Mariposa, and got some good heel heat in there with Marty the Moth isolating Melissa and getting a pinfall victory over her, and yeah, just a nice little push heading into this match. So you got Phoenix's mask on the line and Marty's hair. I highly doubt that Phoenix is going to lose his match, so going to lose his mask. So I'm going to pick Marty to lose and ultimately lose his hair, and Phoenix to get his revenge on Marty for all of the horrible things that he's done to Melissa Santos and Arhanas and himself and all sorts of other things. Yeah, it's nice when you actually let the heel build up some heat before you have him lose instead of just having him lose all the time. I'm just saying, it's a good practice to follow. And like I said, there's a third match that has not been announced yet for Night 2. I have no idea what that is. We don't have a Trios title match set yet, so that might be where that goes. They might do, like, the Reptile Tribe defending the Trios titles against the Rabbit Tribe or Worldwide Underground or something like that. But again, the match has not been announced yet, so I have no idea what that is. Actually, that's interesting to talk about. There's some interesting omissions here. Mac is not on the show after having one of the best performances of Season 3. The all-night long match with Johnny Mundo to kick off the second portion of Season 3. Yeah, so he's not on the card. Rey Mysterio is actually not on the card, which is very interesting. And we don't have a Trios title match set, so I wonder if these two matches that have not been announced yet will utilize some of those guys. But for Night 3, we've got two matches. A Last Luchador standing match between Sexy Star and Taya, and a Gift of the Gods Championship ladder match between Pentagon Dark and Son of Havoc. I guess we'll start with the Last Luchador standing match. Any Sexy Star match that you watch moving forward is going to be awkward, giving her behavior at Triple Mania, shall we say. I didn't hear any reports of her flipping out and breaking Taya's arm, so I'm going to assume that the match went okay. Hopefully the match is good. My hope is that Taya would go over. Doubtful, though, because Sexy Star always seems to go over in these situations, but Taya has been so great, I would like for her to get the win. Just hopefully the match is good. That's really all I have to say about it, and yeah, hopefully Taya goes over. Or hopefully Taya went over when they taped it. I don't know for sure. As for the Gift of the Gods ladder match, this was set up again on the previous episode of Lucha Underground. They did the 7-way Gift of the Gods match to taking all the Aztec Medallion winners. The winner gets the title. Son of Havoc and Pentagon both got pinfall victories over opponents in that match because the referee was kind of dumb and counted both pins at the same time instead of just like, hey guys, I can't count the pin if both of you are pinning somebody or something like that. But because of that, Pentagon and Son of Havoc will now be facing each other for the vacant championship in a ladder match per order of Dario Cueto. I think this is an interesting match because it's the two guys that are really over in Lucha Underground but have always been kind of on the inside or on the outside looking in. They kind of sort of get close to breaking through the glass ceiling but then get pulled back. Pentagon's gotten a lot closer than Son of Havoc has, but Son of Havoc won that mini tournament last year where he would have gotten a main event spot at this year's Ultima Lucha, but he got screwed out of that thanks to Famous B and Doc Wagner. So yeah, so you got these two guys that are really over. Now they're in a position to win the Gift of the Gods title, which would put them in position to get a shot at the Lucha Underground Championship. Very interesting that this match is taking place on Night 3, and on Night 4, we have a match that has not been announced yet. So it makes me wonder, are we going to close out Ultima Lucha with the Gift of the Gods cash-in? Because the way the belt works, it's not quite like the Money in the Bank. You can't just cash in the night of. You have to give Dario Cueto at least a week's notice to declare that you want to cash in the title shot. And, you know, Night 3 takes place 1 week before Night 4, so could we be getting that, like, you know, Pentagon or Son of Havoc could be cashing in against Puma or Mundo or inserting themselves into the Puma Mundo match? Again, we'll see. I think the ladder match could be very good. I'm going to pick Pentagon to win the title and maybe cash in Night 4. Who knows? Following that up, we've got Night 4, the 2-hour finale to Season 3. Like I said, we have the match that hasn't been announced yet, which I guess I'm predicting is going to be the Gift of the Gods cash-in match. But again, we'll see. We also have a three-way war for the Magic Gauntlet. The Magic Gauntlet that Cage has had for most of the season. That is giving him additional powers, but unbeknownst to him, is slowly possessing him by an ancient evil Aztec god. Which Lucha Underground does some crazy shit, but I love it. And in some recent developments, again, they've got a very complicated mythology here. Katrina is trying to get the gauntlet back for her mother, who is Lieutenant Delgado, I think her name is. I forget what's the name of that character. God, I'm gonna hate myself. But anyway, this character who's like head of the police force that employed Cortez Castro and Joey Ryan is also revealed to be immortal and is Katrina's mom. And she has employed Katrina to get the Magic Gauntlet away from Cage. So Katrina is using Mil Muertes to get the gauntlet, and Jeremiah Crane, who wants to win over Katrina, is also trying to get the gauntlet to get in her good graces. And now you've got Mil Muertes, Cage, and Jeremiah Crane all fighting over the gauntlet. Dario Cueto stole the gauntlet, and now he's going to declare whoever wins this three-way match gets the gauntlet. Phew. Hopefully I covered all the bases there. I think this match is going to be awesome. The idea of Cage and Mil Muertes working against each other is great. Muertes and Crane already had an outstanding match a few weeks back during the Cueto Cup. That was just a wild brawl. I'm expecting this match to be like the Goldberg-Lesnar match, but on steroids. Like, just off-the-wall, crazy power moves everywhere, and just crazy, crazy brawling, and just crazy, crazy shit. I'm going to pick Muertes to win it. He's actually undefeated at Ultima Lucha, which is interesting. They may want to, like, if Lucha Underground continues moving forward, they may want to continue him having that, keeping him unbeaten at the biggest event in Lucha Underground. But, yeah, I think this match is going to be great, and I can't wait to see it. That's one that I'm super excited about. We also have a steel cage match between El Dragon Azteca Jr. and the Monster Matanza Cueto. I think this could be a really fun high-flying versus power type of match. Again, has a storyline built up into it, and Matanza took out Ray Ray, who is El Dragon Azteca Jr.'s mentor, so you have that little bit of storyline development there. And, yeah, it's a steel cage match, so that's going to make it interesting right off the bat. Locked in a cage with Matanza, I don't think El Dragon Azteca has much of a chance, so I'm going to pick Matanza to win it. Yeah, hopefully it's just a really good match, so we'll see. And finally, we have the main event in a title versus career match for the Lucha Underground Championship. We've got Johnny Mundo defending against Prince Puma. Given that it looks like Puma or Ricochet is not coming back to Lucha Underground, that would make me think that Mundo would win. But if Lucha Underground is ending altogether, that might not even matter. So who the hell knows? So I guess this match, and I guess if Morrison or Mundo or Johnny Impact, whatever you want to call him, is showing up on GFW now, he's probably done too. So who the hell knows what the hell's going on? So I don't even know what to think here as far as the prediction goes. Of course, I'm also predicting a Gift of the Gods cash-in, so what do I even know? I'm gonna say I'll pick Mundo to retain in what should be a very good match. Again, if this is the end of Lucha Underground, this is the last match they ever have, I think this is a very good last match to have. These two main evented the very first episode of Lucha Underground way back when. They also had a great feud, going all the way through Lucha Underground's history, having the first ever all-night-long match in the company history, which was outstanding. And all sorts of great stuff that they've done together. So it feels appropriate that if this is the end of Lucha Underground, that these two would be the ones to close it out. So I'm looking forward to a great main event here. Again, I'm hoping this isn't the end of Lucha Underground. I'm not rooting for their demise, obviously. I love them. But if this is the end, let's go out with a bang. These 4 shows that they're doing look stellar, look amazing, and I want to see how it all turns out. So, again, fingers crossed. Hopefully everything turns out okay. But I'm very excited to see what Lucha Underground gives us in these final 4 shows of Season 3. But that is all I have for now. Again, I've got a lot more video ideas and a lot more things lined up moving forward, so be on the lookout for all of that. But until then, y'all have a good weekend, and I will see you all later.